B and C, and I've got additional names there added, and those were Councillor Newman, Councillor Quacks, and members, Councillor Lee, and members, I will assure you that the draft work of that party will be distributed to you all, but you will be asked to read it quite quickly, probably, and reply with your comments promptly.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, can I just confirmation, please, so that you've added those people, but you will still send everything round to everybody, and everyone is still available to attend the working party.
That is correct, absolutely. Well socialised politically. Thank you. All.
Can I just make a point?
Councillor Lee.
I thank you very much for including myself. I would much prefer, though, that this committee dealt with it, and I hope that if the process is delayed, then this reference group will be reporting back to this committee, because in terms of the status of this particular project, we've heard that it's nationally significant, even a road of national significance perhaps. Our reference group at this point has been focused more on local issues. I guess the real impacts are in between. In other words, this is a regionally significant project. I won't go into the background of it. It was accepted in the Auckland plan, I guess, through a process of bargaining to allow the rest of the transport initiative through without objection. So that's how politics works. Ironically, I think the main beneficiary of this road, if it does go through, will be the shareholders of the Port of Tauranga. But good old Auckland, you can't criticise us for not being generous to the other regions. My particular concern is this on the western, well, the whole area is absolutely critical for transport links and nodes, for infrastructure in terms of water care interceptors, and also for high tension power. So it's a particularly critical area for the Auckland region. And what I'm also concerned about is that in the mapping, the rail line is clearly mapped, but not the rail corridor. The rail corridor extends to the Onehunga Wharf, which is currently out of favour, but may become of strategic importance again, given those facilities are one day closer to Australia than the Waitemata port is. All of those points make this very important for us, and therefore I would like to see, if at all possible, final decisions are made by this particular planning committee.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
An amendment.
Thank you. It's not moved, and I think you've spoken, so I think I need, I'll just check with the committee secretary.
That was previous.
Well, can I make that as an I don't want to move, I just want to make it as an understanding that it's logical.
I think it's well understood here that if time allows, and even if we have to call an extraordinary, given the importance that I'm hearing from this committee today, it will be addressed by this whole committee, if at all possible.
Can I just add one more point? I think what we have to be concerned about, if NZTA, looking at the bottom line, externalise the costs of this project, or reduces the costs by disrupting the rail corridor. In other words, the rail corridor is currently not being used, therefore who cares? And I think that we need to take a longer view on that for a whole lot of reasons.
Thank you. Now, there's been, how many speakers have we had in favour of this item?
I have a question.
I'll take a question as well. And Councillor Newman and Councillor Quacks, you'd like to speak to the item both?
I don't need to speak to it.
I hear, Councillor Fletcher, I might take your question first then.
Well, thank you. I'm just seeking your guidance, Mr. Chairman, in terms of points of principle as we move ahead on this committee. what I was of the understanding is that our local boards are there to represent the local areas, but when we sit here at this committee, we are here to represent the region. And I think as a point of principle, it's going to be really important, whether it's the next agenda item or subsequent agenda items, that all members of this committee can have the opportunity to make an input. So I think it's inappropriate for the ward councillor to be specifically referenced. And I'm not just saying on the east-west, I'm thinking of it in regard to any number of projects. And I'm just asking for your guidance on how you'll deal with this going forward.
Well, look, it could read deputy chair or just councillor. Look, I think we might be splitting hairs there. But I take the point, all councillors are to bring a regional perspective, not a local perspective. You are elected on a ward. Once you are elected, you are a regional councillor.
Thank you.
And I take that point. I think we are all reminded of that. I'm happy, but look, I'm happy as it is as well. But look, we'll change it to deputy chair to address.
I think just in
Okay,
terms
we'll do
of
that.
principles, and it's been very accommodating for you to accept Councillor Quacks and Councillor Newman.
Thank you. I've got two more speakers on this, and it's Councillor Newman and Councillor Filippine.
No, I got a question. It wasn't speaking.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. Final question, and then we'll put it to the vote. Councillor
Okay.
Filippine.
Look, around mana whenua and consultation with mana whenua, I see that the Independent Māori Statutory Board is on the political reference group, but my concern is around the mana whenua and the consultation. How will that happen?
John, is that for you to answer?
Sorry, Chair, I just put some clarification around the question because in 2011 with the reclamation State Highway 221 that NZTA led, the group that I went on had mana whenua represented on there with also local government political.
Sorry, I'm just going to intervene here. I did say that we were in debate, and I have taken that question, but members, once we're going into debate, I don't think I should be brought back to ask staff to respond to further questions. So,
sorry,
but,
Chair.
but
sorry.
I'm just saying, in this instance, can you answer this briefly, John?
Chair, can I just make a point here? The debate and questions we had was on the amendment. We are now on the substantive. Hence the question on the substantive and not the amendment.
Okay, and
so
I'm going to asking the staff to briefly respond.
So NZTA are engaging with mana whenua and have done for quite some time. We as council staff would also look to engage with mana whenua to assist the council in forming its view on what the submission should contain. We've had an initial discussion with some of the mana whenua representatives at a forum last month to suggest that idea. The mana whenua reps there were receptive to the idea of not only making their own submission, engaging directly with NZTA, but also giving some views to assist council in forming its submission. So we will certainly do our best to get the views from mana whenua from the council side of things, separate to any discussions NZTA is having with mana whenua. Yep.
Thank you, and I hope we do abide by standing orders, Chair.
Thank you. I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Declare that carried. We have one to record. It's Councillor Casey. Is it against all of A, B and C, Councillor Casey? Yep. It is.
Put it all together.
I need to put the substantive motion. That was together. Oh, it was together. Okay, we're complete with that item. We will now go to